You ever see someone so calm, so absolutely still, that it feels like the whole world moves around them? That's exactly what hit Commander Jacob Steele the moment he stepped into the dusty hangar at Forward Operating Base Orion. The sun was burning down hard, the kind of heat that makes the air ripple. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on the ground, wiping down the massive Barrett 50 cal like it was made of glass instead of death and thunder. Hey everyone. Welcome back to Her Mission Diaries, where we bring you the untold stories of warriors the world almost forgot. If you love stories of courage, sacrifice, and impossible missions, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what you're about to hear will change how you see heroes forever. Commander Steele was new to the unit, just reassigned from a SEAL team rotation to oversee joint operations in northern Afghanistan. He'd seen his share of soldiers, some loud, some reckless, some haunted. But this woman, she was different. Her name was Sergeant Elara Quinn, a U.S. Army sniper attached to his forward recon team. At first glance, she looked too small for the weapon she was cleaning. The Barrett's barrel nearly stretched past her shoulder. But her movements were deliberate, precise, ritualistic. New CO? She asked without looking up. Yeah, Steele replied. Commander Steele. You're... Elara, she said, still focused on the weapon. You can call me Quinn. He nodded, noticing the quiet respect the other soldiers had around her, like she carried something heavier than her rifle. There was an aura about her, the kind that came from those who'd seen too much. Steele walked closer, squinting at the rifle. The long, matte black barrel was spotless, the scope adjusted perfectly. That's a Barrett M82A1. Not many people handle it this clean. She finally looked up, her blue-gray eyes calm but unreadable. I don't miss, she said softly. He chuckled, thinking she was joking. But no one else in the hangar laughed. Later that night, during a tactical briefing, Steele asked one of his intel officers about her. The officer hesitated, then slid a thin folder across the table. Inside was a mission report, heavily redacted, but one line stood out. Confirmed kill distance, 3,247 meters. Steele froze. That was nearly 2 miles. Only a handful of snipers in history had made shots like that. And she wasn't just one of them. She was the record holder. As the realization hit, he looked out at the night through the tent flap. She was there again, sitting in the dark, staring at the desert horizon like she could still see through the scope. And he wondered, what kind of soul carried a number like that in silence? That night, Steele didn't sleep. He just kept hearing her words, I don't miss. What he didn't know yet was why she never missed. The next morning, a storm rolled in. A mission alert came through. An insurgent convoy had been spotted crossing the valley, heavily armed, high value. The kind of target that could change the course of operations in the region. Steele gathered his team. Quinn was already geared up, her Barrett slung over her shoulder, face calm as stone. The others watched her like she was a legend walking. As they climbed into the transport, Steele finally asked the question burning in his chest. That record shot, 3,247 meters. What happened that day? Quinn looked out the window. It wasn't a record, she said quietly. It was a rescue. She told him how her unit had been ambushed deep in the mountains. Her spotter, her fiancé, had been captured. They were pulling him out when enemy snipers pinned them down. The only chance they had was for her to take the shot from a ridge over 3 kilometers away, through heat, wind, and tears. She pulled the trigger once. The bullet traveled 7 seconds through time and space, found its mark, and ended the firefight. But when her team reached the site, her fiancé was already gone. I made the perfect shot, she whispered. And it didn't matter. Silence filled the transport. Steele didn't know what to say. Hours later, they reached their overwatch point. The storm had cleared, and the valley spread out below them, a wide, open expanse of danger and beauty. The convoy moved through the dust. Quinn set up the Barrett, adjusting windage, range, and scope like she was part of the weapon itself. Steele watched through his binoculars, calm, steady, respectful. Then she took the shot. The Barrett thundered. The target vehicle erupted. 1 shot, 1 hit. Mission complete. When they returned, Steele stopped her outside the hangar. You said it wasn't a record. But what do you call it now? She looked at him, a faint smile breaking through the hard silence. Redemption, she said, and as she walked away, he realized she wasn't just a sniper. She was a guardian, one who carried pain not as a wound, but as a purpose. If this story moved you, if you believe heroes come in all forms, some seen and some hidden, then hit that like button and subscribe to Her Mission Diaries right now. Because every story like Elara Quinn's deserves to be heard, remembered, and honored.